Here's Jacob Smith. His shot, he scores! Centering pass. Oh, what a sensational save. It's 2-on-1. Here's Chesson winding up for one-timer. Savino, he scores! Chong with a brilliant move. She scores! Shoots, he scores! From the Barn Hockey Bar, we are live for the high school hockey kickoff show right here on the SHL Network. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into this one-of-a-kind event, a first in the history of the SHL Network. I'm going to be joined by Wes Anderson all evening long for this preview event. You can see we've got a huge crowd here. If you're still thinking about coming in, feel free to stop by the Barn Hockey Bar here just about 2 blocks east of the United Center. It is a really special night here in the league. Wes, thanks for joining me.
Max, thanks for having us. And like you said, it's the kickoff show. Excited to be back. I know we both had a little bit of a long off season, but the weather's starting to change here, and excited to be back, excited to talk some hockey.
No doubt about it. We've got a packed show today. We're going to run roughly about an hour, but we're not a network, so we could always run long if we want to. But that's going to be the rough goal. We're going to break it down into a few different segments here tonight, including some special guests that we're going to preview here in just a couple of minutes. Before we get too far along, I have to start with an apology, Wes, and that apology goes to Stevenson and Lake Forest. Unfortunately, folks, scheduling comes, and we don't necessarily get to pick the date. I know Stevenson and Lake Forest have a 9:15 puck drop tonight out in the suburbs, so obviously they're not going to be here tonight. My promise to you, both teams, we will make it up to you. I'm not sure how yet, but I promise you we will make it up to you and make sure that we have some kind of event for them as well.
Oh, of course, and I know they're going to battle it out tonight, Max, something that we might get into a little bit later, but again, apologies to those two teams, and I know they'll come on YouTube a little bit later and check this out themselves, so best of luck to both those teams tonight.
No doubt about it. Just an idea of what you're going to see here tonight. We're going to start off the night the way we have to start off the night, and that's, of course, giving some shine to the state champions, New Trier Green. We're going to have Adam Cheris, Jack Savino, and Brendan Hennigan, a live interview right here next to me here on set at the Barn Hockey Bar. Right here on Ogden. We're going to follow that up with our special guest for the night, Ryan Brandell. Most people, when I say that name, probably don't know who that is, but when I say Barstool Chief, I think you know that name if you're a hockey fan anywhere in Chicago. Barstool Chief in the house here tonight. We're going to have him on for a segment as well. After that, we're going to have a different kind of event. We're going to have what we're calling our Captain's Roundtable. We're going to have 4 different captains here from the SHL all on the show. We're going to have a live fire round of questions about the league, about matchups, about different places that they play around the league, all of that right here on the set. Then we're going to check in with Dylan Ward, our social media director, Mr. SHL himself. Nobody knows more about everything going on in the SHL than Dylan Ward, so we're going to have him on for a couple of minutes and talk about what's going on in the league so far, what we have to look forward to as well. Finally, we're going to get to our coaches roundtable. So we've got a bunch of coaches in the house, including SHL President Evan Polakidis will be on for that roundtable. We'll have Spencer Montgomery. We'll have several other coaches as well as part of that roundtable. But much, much more to get started. We are going to take a short break. When we do come back, we're going to have that very first segment of the evening. We're going to have New Trier Green, state champions, right here on the High School Hockey Kickoff Show, live from the Barn Hockey Bar here on Ogden. Welcome back to the show here. We've got the state champions live on set with us here tonight. We've got Adam Charis, Jack Savino, Brendan Hennigan. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
As the first segment here on the high school hockey kickoff show, it felt only natural that the state champions get it. Again, congratulations, Adam. With that, I want to start with you. You know, a whirlwind year, right? You take over New Trier Green, you know, the historic program here in the state of Illinois from a longtime legendary head coach. You had ups, you had lots of ups, you had some downs. It was a roller coaster. You've had an off season now to really process it. What was that journey like?
Well, it's exactly what you said. It was a journey. You know, from the very get-go, you know, getting started, replacing a guy who is a friend and somebody who I think is an amazing hockey person, you know, and Bob Melton and Chad Bidwell, guys that I coached with for a number of years. So, you know, trying to fill those shoes of guys that you really respect and know what they brought to a program of pure winning started an immediate challenge for us. You know, for me, once they announced that, what got me most involved was the kids. These are kids that I'd known for many years. They apparently wrote a letter to the board saying that, you know, their wish was for me to become their head coach. And when I heard that, for me, that's when I went all in. You know, from that point on, it was, you know, how are we getting to state and how far can this team go? Like I said, I knew these kids since they were, you know, in some cases 5 years old, including having a son on the team made it even that much more special. So, boy, to go through that and see, you know, just what this league consisted of, to see every step you have to take along the way. You know, we saw today where, you know, the big post is our loss to Barrington. I mean, I love it.
It was a year ago today or a year ago yesterday?
Yeah, we, you know, it's a good wake-up call. We got 3 big games this weekend. So, you know, those types of things where you hit, you know, bumps in the road together and how you come together as a team and having kids like Jack and Brennan along with, you know, returners like Butler Chesson and Will Cusick and Tyler Smith and all these great kids, Landon Douthit, on and on and on, that you really saw what it meant to them and how bad they wanted to, you know, get to that next level. That they held each other accountable, and we, you know, made it very easy for me, to be really honest. They just wouldn't let us lose.
So you mentioned these two guys next to you, obviously state champions in a little bit different way, right? Unfortunately, Jack, you weren't able to play in that state championship game. You had to watch it. You still get a ring for being on the team, of course, and you played a lot of it. Going into this season, defending state champion, is there a part of you that feels like you haven't won a state championship yet?
Yeah, big time. I feel like it's still there to like be conquered, even though it's been conquered by a lot of guys on the team still. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I owe it to myself to go out there every day and give it my all, and just make up for the time that I had lost last year, especially for the guys next to me in the locker room, especially the returners and the seniors on the team this year, because I thought always last year I was like, I want to win a state championship for the seniors, not just myself, not just for every guy in the team, but more for like the seniors than anything, because their last year playing hockey for a lot of guys. So I think it's a really special year for a lot of kids on the team, and you grow as people throughout the whole season. You grow a connection like no other. I mean, 14 hours a week spent together just like at the rink pretty much. It becomes more like a brotherhood than anything, I feel. And like I want to repeat the same thing this year. So I feel like I owe it to myself to owe it to everyone to win another one.
So when I was a freshman in high school, I broke my wrist. I missed my entire freshman baseball season. I learned more sitting next to my coach in those 6 weeks I wasn't able to play than at any point in my baseball career. Do you feel like you learned a lot just watching?
So much. I feel like I watched for a good amount of time. It's a surgery that requires a lot of time to recover from. It's like 6 to 8 months. So over that 6 to 8 months, I learned a lot from just being at practice with all the guys, like watching from the bench, and then especially like Adam, Kenyon, and Suave, who are all of our coaches, who did a great job of including me throughout the whole thing. I feel like I became another coach on the coaching squad pretty much. So I learned a lot from that and found like parts of my game that I could improve from just watching the game.
And it obviously it humbles you, right? Yeah. It makes you realize how special and how rare it is to play on the stage you play, to play for New Trier Green. And I'm glad that you were able to get something out of that time. I find that very valuable. Brendan, you got to play in that state championship game. You got to skate on that ice in a little bit different role than you are now. You were a little bit more of a role player. You're second or third line guy. You obviously, I think you were 8th or 9th on the team in points, so still contributed. But your role this year's changed, right? Through 7 games, I think you're leading the team in points now. How has your mentality changed coming into this season?
Yeah, so for this season, like, I'm just working on, forechecking really hard, and also working well on the power play with guys. That's really big so far this season. We have a new power play, Bigfoot. It's really, like, vital for our points. We just get all the biggest guys out on the ice, screen the goalie, and then that's how we're able to score some goals. So.
You mentioned some of the wrinkles you make, Adam. Every team's different, right? And especially this year, you guys returned 7 skaters. I mean, that is a small amount in high school hockey. Somehow you guys are still undefeated through 7 games in the SHL. How's this team different than last year's team?
Well, I think you nailed it. This is a very different team. We knew going into the season that it would be different. Different level of skill. More importantly, a different level of size. I have not seen a team like this with the size we have. You got a Wolf who's 6'8", Fisk 6'6", several guys that are 6'4", 6'3". Very physical team. I think in the past I've always seen New Trier Green as that speed, skill team that just light you up with speed. These guys will light you up with the body. So we've really adjusted our system to fit the style of player we have this year. It's a very different, contrast compared to last year, though. I love it, though, because these guys, they work their tails off, and they just don't shy away. So gives us a different advantage, I think.
In 21, Stevenson was able to get that first state championship in their program history. You guys were able to get that crown back, but it felt like attention was a little bit off you guys. Obviously, you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, a lot of punch jokes about the Barrington loss. There was everyone kind of felt like it was time to pile on in New Trier. You guys are back on top, and you're back to being the hunted. How does that change on a game-in, game-out basis?
Yeah, well, that's something that we talk about all the time. When you're playing green, you typically don't see the fourth line. You're never really seeing the second goalie. You're getting the best of the best, and you know everyone's going to challenge you. So we take it upon our captains and our coaching staff to make sure that we're geared up for every game, that if you have that letdown, you're going to lose. The SHL is that talented. On any given night, any team's going to beat you. We're the best proof of that ever. So we use that as constant reminder. That's why I made the joke. It's like, yeah, we love that reminder. It meant a lot to us, and Barrington deserved that win. But you're going to have those potholes, and it's how you respond to it, knowing that every team's coming for you. So that's our whole thing with our captains, and like I said, the coaches, to get everybody fired up.
And Brendan, it's one thing to get that message from your head coach. What's it guy to guy in the locker room like? Again, being the hunted, knowing that you're New Trier Green, knowing that everyone's coming for you.
Yeah, so since we're like the hunted, we just need to be focused and day out at practice, be ready coming into games, and when we're not ready, it shows. So that's the biggest thing, just staying focused before games and working as hard as we can at practice day in, day out.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you for coming to this event. Obviously, great representation. We're hoping to do more events like this. I've already heard about it. Of course, New Trier Green gets the focus segment. Well, folks, they want a state championship. So if you want a focus segment on this show next season, go out and win yourself a state championship, and you'll be right here at this desk in just about a year from now. Guys, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
It's our pleasure.
Good luck,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you Sunday
you.
for New Trier Loyola.
We'll see you then. Looking
will
forward
be the
to
game
it.
of the week.
Thanks, Max.
New Trier Green joining us for this segment of the show. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, Barstool Chief on the set with us here live from the Barn Hockey Bar. This is the High School Hockey Kickoff Show live on the SHL Network.
SHL Trucker Hats.
All right, our first giveaway of the night. These sharp SHL Trucker Hats, we're giving 2 away on this first one. So, yeah, 2. We're giving away 2 right now. So, number 1. 919-091. 919-091. You got to be in here. I saw a hand go up. Come up to the front. 919-091. Why am I? Come up. Our second hat. 919. I need volume, Jim. 919-054. 919-054. Hey, there he is. All right. Thank you, everybody. More to come.
There you go.
What'd you do with the? Just put them on the side so they can't win again. All right. Here's Jacob Smith. His shot. He scores!
Centering pass. Oh, what a sensational save.
It's 2-on-1. Here's Chesson winding up for one-timer. Savino, he scores! Chong with a brilliant move. She scores! Shoots, he scores! Welcome back to the High School Hockey Kickoff Show, live here from the Barn Hockey Bar. Haven't mentioned it to this point, but the Barn Hockey Bar is the official bar and restaurant of the SHL. We thank them for their great support of the SHL and high school hockey. Big thank you to them, the entire crew. They've been awesome so far here tonight. Joining us now on the show, I call you Ryan Brando. It just doesn't
that
feel.
That is my name.
I know that's your name. I
name.
know you as Barstool Chief.
That's what my mom named me.
Of course,
Yeah.
that's what your mother named you. But Barstool Chief joining us. Thank you so much for joining us here on the High School Kickoff Show. So, wanted to start first. Obviously, I know you maybe don't follow the day-to-day happenings of New Trier and Loyola and all the intricacies of the league. But you're a hockey player, right?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you don't just follow the Hawks as a fan. You played hockey. You played it at a pretty high level. What's some of your background in hockey for folks that might not know?
Yeah, so I played a little bit of D3 at Lake Forest College, actually, so I'm familiar with those programs. They're always around. Lake Forest High School had a decent program when I was a kid as well. From the western suburbs, from St. Charles, and I played with a chill. Played probably the best team I was ever on was my New England prep team, Berkshire School, out in Massachusetts. But yeah, I love the game. Always been playing since I was 5, and Barstool was really after college. It started out as a thing that I just wanted to kind of loosely stay involved with the game in a unique way. So I've been a ref. I've coached minor hockey. Obviously played, like we said. So I love the game. I've done it from every perspective. So I've been involved forever.
You've really cultivated this fan base specifically around just an absolute diehard Blackhawk fan. I mean, I consider myself a big Blackhawk fan. I mean, the amount of times I'd flip through Twitter last season in Game 73 and you were still watching, I couldn't believe it because it was just so painful
it was hard.
at times.
Yeah, it was hard.
But the payoff came, right? The payoff came.
Not a bandwagon fan.
It's coming.
It's coming, right? But it started,
yes.
right? And one of the things, I've been doing high school hockey broadcasting in the Chicago area since 2016, and one of the things that stuck out so obvious is the amount of high school hockey games I'd go where every single team had a 19 at center.
Yep.
There were wingers that were 88. The effect that Kane and Taves had on Chicago in the 2010s on an entire generation of Blackhawks fans was transcendent all the way down to the youth levels. How do you see this moment with Connor Bedard similar and different from that time 15 years ago?
Well, I hope it's a continuation. We got all these kids behind us who I would consider them like the first true generation of Taves and Kane hockey players in this city. So they were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old when those guys came to the league. They experienced that as a kid, which is probably different from me when I was in my 20s and at the bars and having a great time going to the rink and all that. But they idolized those guys in a different way, and you saw the participation in hockey in Illinois explode. And when I was a kid, the games weren't on TV. Everybody's talked about that. But even down to the point where you'd ask your buddy, like, oh, who's your favorite team? Toronto, Colorado. I love Sakic. I love Detroit. There weren't Blackhawks fans in Chicago, even among the hockey community. So the fact that we have pride in the city and our hockey again, and we've seen that translate into new players, not just, hey, my dad played. It was like, no, I want to be like that kid. Bedard has a chance to extend that as well. So it's a continuation. And if you close your eyes and you think of, like, who are the big hockey states, it's Minnesota, Michigan, Massachusetts. Illinois and Chicagoland really has a chance now, if they build upon the last generation and you just keep growing it with Bedard, to slide into that top 5. And the high school hockey, like, I would love it if it became an institution where that state tournament in Minnesota, because I had teammates that were from Minnesota, they had 20,000 people. Like, that, to me, is the goal, I think, for Illinois hockey, high school hockey. And I don't think it's inconceivable to get to fill the United Center for the state championship game.
One of the really, to that point, one of the really special moments of last year, York making their first state championship appearance. And York's goaltender is a former AAA player.
Okay.
Played AAA through his sophomore year, came back to York and was an absolute stalwart, led them to a state championship. And in his post-game interview after his semifinal win, he said, I've played AAA, I've played all over the country. I've never played in an environment like this. And to your point, that's what we're after.
And, and I did the New England prep thing where, I played AAA, same thing, you go out to New England prep. There is something special about playing for your school, about wearing, your jersey in the hallways, wearing your warm-ups in the hallways. It's game day and there's a buzz about it. There's something that just makes it that much more special.
It's a sense of pride type of thing.
Sense of pride and like you can puff your chest out a little bit, and like girls ask you about it. They're going to be at the game, and everybody, and like that is a thing that And when we had this thing, we had an old rink back then where we had air vents over like the student section, and you would score, and they had all these like fist marks from when they would just bang on the air vents for 60 years there in that rink. And I could still like feel that swell, and you don't get that feeling when you don't play for your high school. Like high school hockey, I really think that Illinois has a chance to take it to the next level here in this this Taves Kane generation that we're seeing behind us here today, that are out there now, and then build further on that as Bedard becomes hopefully that next generational type superstar that everyone wants to emulate.
I was going to say, you went out to the East Coast to play prep hockey. Mm-hmm. Did you ever imagine you're going to sit on a panel here talking about high school hockey in Illinois, 2 blocks away from the United Center, on Hawks soil, so to speak? I mean, you talk about even your friends were Detroit fans, and we know how big
not me.
Your friends, not you.
Yeah.
You talk about, and that's one of the bigger rivalries in the NHL. Did you ever imagine seeing yourself sitting behind a desk right now talking about Illinois high school hockey?
No, but I'm thrilled about it.
Obviously.
But I'm thrilled about it. So it's one of those things where it's like when they have had the games on Comcast Sportsnet before, I tune in because it's just like, hey, like this is the level of hockey has gotten better too. So it's so much better than when 20 years ago when I was in high school, where and same kind of thing. You might have 1 or 2 kids that play in your school, but they're not on your team. This like, hey, like we have, like you're saying, this AAA goalie kid for York leads in the state title. That would not have happened before. No. Like this is, and that I love hearing that because high school hockey, playing for your team. I do think that there is like, everyone wants to play at the highest level. But this Illinois high school hockey has really become good hockey, and guys should take pride in playing for that high school. And if it's St. Ignatius or New Trier or whoever it is, you have that patch on your jersey, like that should mean something to you. And it's an opportunity. I hope it's hard to know things when you're 16, 17, 18, right. But like they have an opportunity. Like hey, like traditions don't come out of nowhere necessarily. It's a unique opportunity to you can be at the tip of the spear or the laying the cornerstone of what's going to be a great generation of hockey where someone's coming behind you is going to make it a little bit better. But it starts here with you as this. We're still at the early stages, I think, of the growth of Illinois hockey.
I don't think there's any question, and you talked about Adam Kazmarek is the goaltender's name, and who mentioned that from York, but pretty much every one of these teams now has 2 or 3 kids a year that decide, you know what, I don't want to play AAA anymore, I want to play for my high school, and that culture's building, and to your point, just in the now 8th year I've done this, the quality of hockey from 2016 when I started to now, it's just totally different. Yeah,
and I think you're going to get to a point where, hey, I was the best player or one of the best players in this league. You're getting looks from D1 or D3 schools, and D3 hockey is that's great too. That should be a goal, and that was when you go out to prep school, we had NHL guys all over that league. The vast majority of that league played D3, and that's great hockey. And if Illinois can, and especially these Catholic league schools, can use that as use the academics at prep school that changed my life. Get these kids to be able to think, speak, and write. That's all you really need in life. So combine that with hockey and springboard that to some of these D3 programs, and hopefully Illinois, University of Illinois finally gets over the goal line. I haven't had an update on what's going on there. It's been an ongoing saga
maybe
forever.
Northwestern too, hopefully.
Yeah. Somebody get a hockey program here, because this is it's becoming a hotbed of talent. They just all have to leave the state eventually. They go to Notre Dame, they go to Wisconsin. It would be great to have a landing spot, even a D3 school in Illinois for these high school kids that are playing really good hockey, to have a place where you can make it a home state thing.
And you mentioned guys getting looks. That's not just anecdotal. We now have empirical evidence of over a dozen players who have been signed to college and junior programs.
That's awesome.
Because of the SHL Network, all the resources this league has put together.
The exposure is massive.
I was telling you off air, we get on average 1,000 to 2,000 viewers for a game, and
awesome.
State championship at 15,000. So it is growing and it's real.
Yeah, no, and it's great to see it, and it's at some level you need a good product too, and the product is getting pretty good. So like I said, I've tuned in hey, these kids, this looks a lot different than even 10 years ago.
So you mentioned talent out of the area. Obviously, JT Comfort now with the Red Wings, played youth hockey in Northbrook. Connor Mackey from Barrington had a cup of coffee with the Calgary Flames, the Coyotes. Daniel Walcott had a cup of coffee with the Lightning and is still bouncing around the AHL. And then, I don't know if you know this, Lucas Van Ness, the Packers' first-round pick, played at Barrington, played in the SHL. They showed highlights of the SHL Network on NFL Network when he got drafted. He's not just a football player, he's also a hockey player. There's the SHL Network highlight on NFL Network. I know for us that was a pretty
I'm
pretty
glad
wild
that
moment.
guy's out of the league. He must have been a terror. He's an animal.
That might have been before my time.
You weren't doing games yet, but I can tell you, I've never seen somebody get so many penalties just because they hit guys too hard.
Yeah, it's the
he would
Shaquille O'Neal effect.
He would destroy someone perfectly legal, and you would see refs look at each other like, that must be a penalty, right? And he's just so big and strong.
The kid's arm's broken. What do we do?
So that was a special moment as we saw those clips on NFL Network.
Yeah.
Last thing before we get you out of here, really appreciate your time. I know obviously all the work you do at Barstool. You're no shy of the camera. Obviously, hockey. We've got openings for color commentary on the SHL Network. If you ever want to jump on.
You think this hair just happened by accident today? This was an audition.
Nice
blow dried and everything. Hoping for an offer like that.
We'll talk to the hiring committee. We'll see how you panned out.
Okay.
And we'll all of our people talk to your people.
I'll get you a resume.
The one of one.
I'll get you a resume, and hopefully we can work something out. Because I've actually never done that. I probably wouldn't be good at it.
I mean, you're looking at someone who started 5 years ago who felt like he mumbled through maybe 30.
It wasn't great.
30 minutes of the broadcast, but look, I'm
but
here
you
now.
can think and speak and write. So here you are.
There you go, right? Yeah, exactly. So,
Ryan, Barstool Chief.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Happy
to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
That's Barstool Chief joining us here live from the Barn Hockey Bar here on Ogden. We're just getting started. We've got the Captain's Roundtable. We've got a league update. We've got a coaches panel as well. Much more to come here live from the Barn Hockey Bar here on Ogden. really pay attention to this one. 2 Blackhawks tickets to a game generously donated by SHL President Evan Poulkitis. He'll figure out a date that works for you. 919-104. 919-104. 919-104.
Yeah, that's suspicious.
104. Very good. All right. Should we do another one? Let's do another one. All right. Everybody, second ticket giveaway. 2 more tickets. Again, generously donated by SHL President Evan Poulkitis. 919-069. 919-069. Come on down. I don't know. What's your name?
Claudia.
Claudia. Congratulations.
What group are you in?
I'm here supporting Dylan.
Amazing.
Okay, so Dylan has my number.
All right, one more giveaway. We got another trucker hat. 919-001. Very first ticket. Who was the first person here? 919-001.
Did you win?
Oh, did you win? 919-001. Do we have a winner? Don't be shy. Going once. Going twice. 919-001. All right, sorry. Oh, is that you? Oh, okay. All right. 919-038. 038. 919-038. Hello. 919-038. One more time, 919-038. Hey!
Are we on?
Thank you, everybody online, for tuning in. This is the raffle. We're doing the Instagram giveaway we'll do it next. Yeah. Thank you. Congratulations. Yep. That's you. You're a winner. All right. Now, back to the feed. We've got our Instagram ticket giveaway. Thank you so much to everybody that shared the post today. I just got from Dylan. Give me 1 second. Texted it to me. The winner is at jcone19. At jcone19. You are the winner of the Instagram Blackhawk ticket giveaway. Congratulations. We will be in touch via Instagram after the event. Thank you so much. We'll be back in a minute to continue the program. Here's Jacob Smith. His shot, he scores!
Centering pass. Oh, what a sensational save.
It's 2-on-1. Here's Chesson winding up for one-timer. Savino, he scores! Chong with a brilliant move. She scores! Shoots, he scores! Welcome back here to the High School Hockey Kickoff Show live from the Barn Hockey Bar. It is a great night here. We've got a packed crowd, lots of drinks, lots of food. Thank you so much for tuning in with us here on YouTube Live. This is our Captain's Roundtable. We added a couple. We wanted to get as many of these captains involved from throughout the SHL, so we appreciate them coming. We've got Zach Freemuth, Jacob Smith, Joey Karzik, Charlie Reef, and Connor Steiner joining us here for the Roundtable. Fellas, here's how this is going to go. It's supposed to be very light. Want to get you guys involved. Want you guys having a little fun. So I'm going to pepper each of you with a question, and I guarantee you it's going to cause reaction from the rest of you, all right? So we're going to start with Mr. Freemuth. You are a 4-year varsity starter. Who is – by the way, the caveat is you cannot say, like, your own team or your own anything. It has to be somebody else or something else in the SHL. Make sense?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
You've played – sir, that's my dad, but I appreciate it. 4 years in the SHL. Who's the best goalie you've played against?
Ooh. Can I say Luke Winger in practice?
No.
Okay. Who's the best goalie? I'm going to go COB, O'Brien, on Loyola.
Connor O'Brien, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, my sophomore year. He was very good. He locked us down a bunch of times, and I remember watching him, even the games that we didn't play him. He was a big part of Loyola's success that year, and I thought he was very good.
Fellas on the end, how do we feel about that answer? Anybody else that comes to mind?
Winger is the hardest one I've ever played against.
Is that going to be a universal answer across the board over there?
Yeah. I was going to say Laughlin gave us a heck of a game. I mean, you guys worked your butts off, and I'd like to say he's up there, so props to him.
So I could say in my 8 years of doing this, Luke Winger's the best I've seen. We've seen, especially in the last couple of years, Kaczmarek right there for me. Kaczmarek, especially the run he made for York. But I think Laughlin was fantastic at times last year. I think that is a very fair answer. All right, moving right along. Jacob Smith. This is your second year in the SHL. A player, like we talked about in the last segment, who came from the select travel world, came back to high school hockey. We love that. As you can see, he's going to be on the shelf here for a little bit, but should be back in the middle of December. What is the best home ice advantage in the SHL?
York.
York,
100%.
Addison Ice Arena on a Friday night. We'll be there this Friday night for the first game of the week.
Playing there is so hard. It's so cold, and I think before they changed the lights, it's like dark in there compared to other rinks, I feel like. And like I just think it's very hostile, and it's so cold in there. It's so cold.
Locker rooms are very small.
It's very small.
Okay.
It's
So some of it's like the Iowa pink locker room psychological stuff, right?
100%.
CCHL guys are new to the SHL. Is there maybe a CCHL one that comes to mind?
Yeah, Southwest Ice Arena.
Okay. Is that for the reasons I think it is?
Yeah, it's tiny, small locker rooms.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Hey, home field advantage or home ice advantage, any way you can get it, right? Mr. Karzik, you guys are now double playing, obviously, CCHL and SHL. It is a grind. You can ask the Carmel Catholic friends of yours that did it 2 years ago. It's a grind. What is the favorite road stop that you get to make between the two leagues? It can be for any subjective reason.
Any team or?
What rink do you love playing in that isn't your home rink?
Probably Heartland. I enjoy playing there, and I played there growing up.
Why?
Just like the overall feel of the rink. The ice is really nice. The locker rooms are pretty big. Playing there's a lot of fun.
Jacob, Zach, I know you guys have had some battles at Heartland. How do you feel about that answer?
I could tell that you're not a fan of Heartland.
It's a very tough atmosphere to play in, especially when they're packed. I'm a fan of Heartland. I like the ice. Had some good games there, but yeah, it's a very tough environment to play in.
I like it. I played there 3 or 4 years, from like a year at CYA and Bulldogs the other years. I like it. I don't think the ice is good though, but I still like it. I like the rink.
Steiner, what do you think?
Say again?
Your favorite rink to play in that isn't your home rink?
Glenview Ice Arena.
Wow.
Really?
Ooh, brand new, nice locker rooms, good lighting. Okay, all right, that's a fair answer. Steiner, I'm going to go to you. Obviously, you love your coach, Paul Eberhardt. Great guy. I'm a big fan.
Definitely.
Who is your favorite opposing coach in the SHL? That either A, you would like to play for, you find funny, whatever criteria you want to use, your favorite opposing coach in the SHL. And I know the president's over my right shoulder. It's okay.
GBN's coach.
Why?
I just like playing against him. I think he's a good coach.
Respect for that. There you go. Smith, since you can't answer your own coach, who's your favorite coach to play against?
I really like the Ignatius coach. He's a really nice guy.
Oh, vote for Spencer. Where's Spencer at? He's around here. He's kissing babies and shaking hands somewhere back there. Reef, Charlie Reef. Favorite coach? It could be in the CCHL. I know you're newer to the SHL, but favorite coach you get to play against?
Probably Coach Bo over at York.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big Matt Bowen guy. I know he was going to try to make it tonight. I don't think he was able to make it, but certainly York well represented as well. Fair answer. Back to you, Zach.
Yeah.
You, again, a 4-year player, so I get to ask you a legacy question. Your favorite moment in so far to this point in the SHL?
It's got to be the North-South game. I mean, that entire game is just awesome. I got to say, winning that game back-to-back years, we're grateful for that, and it was a great atmosphere. The fans always bring it. So
it was your sophomore year that you guys broke the 16-year drought or whatever.
I think it was 15 games, 16 years, because there's that COVID year.
That's right. That's right.
The wraparound goal you got on us last year, or the spinorama.
Yeah, I kind of blacked out when I scored that goal. I don't even remember what happened, but yeah, it was a great atmosphere. It was fun to play in.
Joe, you've had a pretty long varsity career to this point. Your favorite moment, again, it could be CCHL. You know, you're new to the SHL. But your favorite moment, ideally, it was on the CCHL Network over the last few years too. So I remember it.
Probably my favorite memory, which actually didn't happen in both of those, when we played crosstown rival OPRF and beat them, got the Paul Ruby Cup back at Ridgeland. I mean, sharing the same rink, definitely beating them. Kind of just brought like a whole motive to us and just brought us closer together.
Very good. All right, guys, last thing. You're playing for a hat. I couldn't have you all on here, a bunch of competitors, without playing a game. We're going to play SHL Trivia. All right, here's how this is going to work. Not a ton of questions, so you better be good at it. I'm going to read the question. When you say ding, I'm going to stop reading the question. All right, so first person say ding. If you say it too quickly and there's not enough information, you're out. All right, winner gets a SHL trucker hat. All right, first, what skater holds the record for most points in an SHL season?
Ding.
Jacob
Owen
Smith.
Just.
Wrong,
No.
you're out.
Davis Jaegers.
Correct. 1 point for Mr. Freeman. That was last year. Davis Jaegers in 2022-2023 for a bonus point. How many points did he have?
Ding. 57.
Wow. Okay, good work. All right, so Freeman with the early lead. Okay.
Someone was watching the stat sheet.
Yeah.
Well, you were close, right? Last year?
I don't know. I mean, I can't say I was close to either OJ or Davis Jaegers, but they were both tearing it up last year. But
Fair enough.
wish I was.
All right. Who are the two teams to win a regular season SHL championship besides New Trier Green?
Oh.
So wait.
There's been two teams besides New Trier to win. New Trier's won 8 SHL regular season championships. There are two teams that have also won an SHL regular season championship. Who are they?
I know one.
I'm waiting for a ding. I'm waiting for a ding. Okay.
All right. Loyola.
Correct.
And GBN.
Correct.
All right. There we go.
And bonus points. I don't think there's any way anyone gets this, but bonus points if you could tell me what years those were. I know you know. What year did you guys win the SHL championship? And then Loyola won in 18, I believe. So that's right. All right. Here we go. So we've got 2-1, and the fellas over here, Steiner, you got to lock in, dude. You got to lock in. What year was the SHL founded?
Ding.
Who said that?
2013?
No, you're out. Don't look at him. God,
He said
we're
it to me
really
before. He's
struggling
told
on
me
our
before.
SHL history here, fellas. Wes, you don't even know?
I'm gonna guess. Ding 2007.
No.
Ding.
What you got?
2005.
No.
Ding.
2011.
No.
Give us one.
I mean,
2003.
no. 2012. You guys were all around it. 2012, 2013 was the first SHL season, so we've got 2, 1, 0, 0. Here's the good news. This last category, you can get multiple points. And here's how this is going to work. We call this a lightning round. All right? We're going to go in order, snake draft. So what that means is once I tell you what the category is, you got about 3 seconds. I'm going to tell you if you took too long to give an answer. So it's going to go Freemuth, then Smith, then Karzik, then Steiner, brief, back around, right? Snake draft. There have been 17 teams to play in the SHL, including current ones. Name them.
Stevenson.
Oh, wait, one.
Oh.
So you say one.
Okay.
South.
Oh, I need a pen. Anyone have a pen? I forgot to get a pen. Thank you. All right. So I heard Stevenson.
South.
Very nice of you.
Vider.
Good answer.
Vider. Very good. This is going to get interesting
Carmel.
towards the end. It should be pretty easy at the beginning. Carmel.
Loyola.
GBN.
Barrington.
Fenwick.
Ignatius.
New Trier Green.
Hold on. Ignatius. New Trier Green. Okay.
Lake Forest.
Yep.
I'll go with Viter.
I already said you're out.
Oh my God.
Stay, but you're out.
Oh, so I'm up.
Yeah. This is where it gets interesting.
Mount Carmel.
You're out.
York.
Hadn't been said. Very good.
Lake Forest.
Already said you're out. So we're down to Freemuth and Steiner. There are 1, 2, 3, 4,
Hasn't been said.
5 left. One of them, I'll give clues. One of them was in the league 2 years ago. One of them was in the league like 5 years ago. And 2 of them, it's been, I don't know, how long's that been? Like 7, 8 years? 8 years.
One of them was in the league 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Got 5 seconds.
Providence.
No. It's a good guess, though. In the league 2 years ago. All right, well, let's start with the ones that I don't think anybody was going to get. So at this point, Steiner and you get points. So we'll figure that out in a minute. We have Rockford was in the league 8 years ago.
Wow.
Never would have guessed that.
Prairie Ridge was also in the league. Do they still?
Never would've
Are they
guessed
still?
that.
No, I didn't think so. OPRF. That was the big one that was in the league
David
2 years ago,
Andolina.
right? David Andolina had the record for points. Am I right on that, Dylan? And Adam Cheris with a great answer that I think is going to jog everybody's memory. New Trier Blue was in the SHL, I think, till about 2018. And there is one more, the only out-of-state team to ever play in the SHL, Carmel of Indiana.
Wow.
So that is your SHL trivia. I believe Freemuth and Steiner win the hats. Congratulations, guys. Good work. Thanks for being good sports.
Thank you.
Guys, good luck the rest of the season. Thank you so much for being out here. You guys are awesome. Look forward Friday night, Sunday. We got games coming up. Looking forward to watching you guys battle it out on the ice.
Thank you for having us.
Captain's Roundtable, a bunch of captains we got to talk to. We've got more coming up here after a break. Stay tuned with us. All right, guys, we are back here on the High School Hockey Kickoff Show presented by the Barn Hockey Bar, the official bar and restaurant of the SHL. We're joined by Ryan Sandler and Cooper Shalin. Couldn't think of your first name there for a second, Coop. Thank you for joining us, first of all. We gave Zach Freeman the chance to really, twist the dagger a little bit on the GBN ride. You guys have both played in it. I believe you guys were both sophomores on varsity 2 years ago, correct?
Yes, sir.
First of all, let's start. What was that day like? I'm sure you remember it.
Yeah, could never forget. First time in 15 years, something like that? Oh yeah, no. It was heart-wrenching. I want to make sure. Well, we said that we weren't gonna ever feel that feeling again. Obviously, we felt the same feeling the next year, but we're looking for a different outcome this year. Get back on track.
All the alumni come home for the South game, and it's kind of depressing that we lost that game. It's first, like Ryan said, first loss in 15 years. I mean, you do it. You win the game, and you play the game for the alumni. And when you lose a game like that, it's heartbreaking. So obviously we'll come back this year, and we're going to try and get that win.
Take us through that day. You guys wake up. You've got all this adrenaline. It's a way different game than you've played to that point. Just take us through those emotions and what you're feeling.
It's nerves. I mean, that's the only way to put it. Especially as a sophomore, there's a lot riding on it. At the time we knew, they had Luke Winger, stud in that, and we knew it was going to be a challenge. But I think that we kind of expected to win, to be honest, because of the past and being 15 years and everything like that. Came in soft, and y'all saw the outcome. But no, the whole feeling leading up to it is just...
That's what GBN hockey is built upon, and the wins and losses, this is a brotherhood, and you remember these games, and you look back on them, and you want to play in every single one of them. So I guess just living in the moment, that's kind of the culture that we're trying to create.
I think that there's just a lot more riding on this year. I mean, we want to leave something other than coming in sophomore year, losing for the first time in 15 years, and then losing again, and then losing again. You know what I mean? Like I can't go with three-peat on losses. I'm not letting it happen. You know what I mean?
like that. That's what you need out of a leader.
I could send a screw it. Luke Winger's not in net anymore, so I'm feeling all right.
He's calling his shot.
I'm feeling all right.
So I'm not going to pen any specific names, but I think you know who you are out there. Plenty of bulletin board material just got thrown out, as it should be with North-South. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. We'll be there, of course, that Wednesday before Thanksgiving like we always are.
Absolutely.
Can't wait for it.
Can't wait.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks,
guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Cooper Shalin and Ryan Sandler joining us here on the show. We're going to take time out. When we come back, we're going to do a quick check-in with Dylan Ward around the SHL, and we're going to finish up thereafter with the Coaches Roundtable right here on the High School Hockey Kickoff Show presented by the Barn Hockey Bar. Here's Jacob Smith. His shot, he scores!
Centering pass. Oh, what a sensational save.
It's 2-on-1. Here's Chesson winding up for one-timer. Savino, he scores! Chong with a brilliant move. She scores! Forrest shoots, he scores! Welcome back to the High School Hockey Kickoff Show, live here from the Barn Hockey Bar. We're joined by social media director for the SHL, Dylan Ward, the brains behind the incredible Instagram page that I know you all love and to interact with, troll with. We know it's all there. We know you deal with it all, Dylan, and we thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, all those real estate agents, right?
Exactly. Lots of real estate agents on
Shots
Instagram.
fired.
Wanted to have Dylan on here because, truthfully, no one has a better picture of the SHL at large and the width of the SHL than Dylan Ward. He's the team broadcaster for GBS. He does all of the league media on Instagram. He sees every team multiple times. So we wanted to have him on, get some impressions of what he's seen so far this season. And that's where we do want to start is we're going to start the SHL Game of the Week schedule on Friday. Frankly, I haven't seen anybody yet. I follow the scores, I read the articles, but I haven't seen it with my eyes. What's your biggest takeaway thus far of the season?
Well, Max, my biggest takeaway is watch out for St. Viator. They are the real deal, an 8-1 record to start the year, and their only loss is against an 8-2 team in GBN. So St. Viator is the real deal. I saw them the other night at their big Pink the Rink game, huge crowd, pink out jerseys. Sean Nutley scored an amazing game-winning goal in the third period there. But they are for real, and that happens in this league a lot. St. Viator, the 7 seed last year, and now they're up to this 8-1 record to begin with. Saw the same thing with GBS the year before. They were the 6th seed in the SHL playoffs, and they came out firing, had that crazy run as the number 2 seed in the SHL. You just never know who's going to be good heading into a new season.
There again, and rolling off of that, just who should we, outside of that, who else should we be looking for? You talk about there's so many good teams in New Jersey Loyola's. Outside of those top 3, who else was really impressed you so far?
Well, Loyola, I saw them last night, a 5-1 win over GBS. And, when you look at Loyola's record last season, especially early on, they did not have the usual Rambler start that they have had every year. But this year, they're 6-1-1, and they look dominant. So Loyola, St. Viator, GBN, I haven't gotten out to see them play yet, but just by seeing all those scores, 8-2 record as well. Pretty good team.
Sounds like our games of the week are going to be pretty good. We've got New Trier and Loyola coming up soon, so that should...
Yeah, I wonder who does that schedule. One of the things we love about the SHL Network is we never quite know what we're going to get on any given night. We get a 9-10 p.m. game on a Wednesday, and it's an all-timer between New Trier and Loyola. We get Carmel, Fenwick. We never quite know what we're going to get. What's an under-the-radar matchup we should be excited about this season?
Well, Max, I don't know if it's so much under the radar just because they're such big, quite a few years, and now that they are both in the SHL, those should be good ones. I know that the network is going out to 2 of those games, and we did see them play already this season. It was a goalie duel, 1-0 shootout win for the St. Ignatius Wolfpack.
It's something we're going to talk about with Spencer Montgomery when he's on the coaches panel next, as well as Nick Fabrini. But it can't be said enough, the difficulty that it's going to be for St. Ignatius playing in the CCHL and the SHL and playing a tournament schedule. It's going to be a grind, something we're going to talk about, but something I know we're going to watch all season long.
Yeah, no kidding, Max. The CCHL this year has a 21-game slate. The SHL, with their biggest yet, 30 games for each team. So that is 51 games in the regular season alone for those 2 teams, Fenwick and St. Ignatius.
Finally, just want to give you a chance. Obviously, you do a ton with the social media. We announced our Instagram winner, the Blackhawks tickets. I know you'll get in touch with them and get them in touch with Evan Polakias again. Donated 3 games of his season tickets to the SHL, and for this event, can't thank him enough for that. What else do you have going on the social media this year?
Well, I know something that was very popular last year was the jersey battle, where we put the bracket up and you guys all voted. That's coming back this year, and plenty of teams have brand new jerseys. I don't know if you guys have seen St. Viator's new set, but they completely had a complete rebrand, and they are some sharp-looking jerseys.
On that spot, not to put you on the spot, who are your top 3 jerseys in the SHL, alternate, home, or away?
That's a good question. Well, I gotta say that Glenbrook South black jersey.
agree.
You guys saw it with
I knew
Freeman.
you were going there.
I'll defend you on that. That is not homerism. I love
Yeah.
that jersey. It's a top 3 for me.
It won the jersey battle. So
And I
yeah.
think rightfully so. The black alternate, I think Freemuth was wearing it, right? It's a very sharp jersey.
I loved the York Dukes gray jersey last year. I don't know if they're bringing that one back. I think that was the alternate special edition that designed by the seniors. So I think they do have that alternate jersey every year, but I don't know if they've unveiled it yet. But I loved that jersey. They wore it at the United Center. They wore it in a bunch of those state playoff and SHL playoff games. That's a sharp look. And if I had to pick a third, probably GBN's green jersey. I know that the black is the main look for the Spartans, but something about that green with the Spartan right here in north, I don't know. I love it. That's the jersey that the GBN players are wearing as well.
Right here, right? There's Smith right there behind you.
Oh, maybe
You
the
can
other
see
way.
it Right there.
Look at you playing nice and picking GBN as well.
Dylan, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for everything you do for the social media within the SHL. The exposure and the growth of social media is directly tied to the growth of the network and the growth of the league. So thank you for everything you do. Folks, at the SHL Network?
It's just SHL Network.
Just SHL. At SHL Network on Instagram. If you don't already, make sure you give it a follow.
Yeah, and just for every one of the followers out there, thank you so much for following. I picked up that Instagram back in 2022, and it had 700 followers. I know we're inching closer to 5,000, so it's been a lot of fun to post all those scores and keep you guys up to date. So thank you all for making it happen.
Kudos to you for that. Dylan Ward, social media director of the SHL. Take time out. When we come back, we're going to have our coaches panel. We'll wrap up here on the High School Hockey Kickoff Show live from the Bar and Hockey Bar. Here's Jacob Smith. His shot, he scores!
Centering pass. Oh, what a sensational save.
It's 2-on-1. Here's Chesson winding up for one-timer. Savino, he scores! Chong with a brilliant move. She scores! Shoots, he scores! fellas. All right, we welcome back live here to the Barn Hockey Bar, our final segment of the day. We have our coaches panel. We've got a bunch of coaches here in attendance. Of course, we got Evan Polakidis, league president, head coach of GBN. Spencer Montgomery, head coach of St. Ignatius. Adam Cheris, who we spoke with earlier, head coach of New Trier Green. Nick Fabrini, head coach of Fenwick. And finally, the Hall of Famer, who I know loves hearing that, Jim Philbin, joining us here on the coaches panel. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. I want to start with the new guys, right? We've got two new teams to the SHL, St. Ignatius and Fenwick, and Nick Fabrini. What has your preparation been like, if it's been different this season, knowing you're playing in these two incredibly tough leagues? I'll start with you, Nick.
I think the thing we talk about most in practice is execution. Like the level of execution just needs to be so high in this league because the margin for error is so small. I mean, if none of the teams really need help creating offense. So if we're turning pucks over, it's going to make for a long night.
Spencer?
Yeah, I mean, for us, you really just need to stay focused all through the entire game. We slept for a period against GBN, and they showed us what this league is all about, taught us a lesson. Every game, come ready to go, and we're also managing fatigue. We're playing 57 games this season, so one thing we have to manage is making sure that we're giving our guys enough rest and preparing for games properly that way.
Did your off-season preparation change? Did you do anything different from an off-ice standpoint, from a roster-building standpoint? Did you look at it differently in that way at all?
Yeah, leading into the season, we really transitioned quickly into focusing less on building mass and more on mobility and using bands and things like that so that our guys are not getting injured.
Jimmy, what do you think about that? Is that an approach? I mean, for these new guys coming in, what's your advice, professional to professional on entering the SHL?
Yeah, I think when you enter the SHL, it's a top league in the state. Every game is like a playoff atmosphere. Kids are battling, coaches are battling. Pre-game preparation is so important in our league. Scouting your team that you're going to be playing and getting ready for that next matchup is critical if you want to end up in the top 8 in the league and get ready for the playoffs.
I joke about it, but it is a very serious thing and a very awesome honor. Going into the Illinois Hockey Hall of Fame last year, a great moment for you, your program, your career. What was that moment like?
It was pretty surreal, getting the call from the Hall of Fame, and very unexpected. It was, I'm speechless about it right now, just like when I got the call. But it was a great honor. A lot of great people and members in that Hall of Fame. The event was so special for me and my family, and it's a great cherished memory, and really proud and honored to be part of that group.
Well, switching gears a little bit, Spencer, I'm going to go back to you. I know you're now part of the high school committee for A-High. Any major updates there? Any breaking news that we can have here on the league? Do we know anything about the state championship or anything along those lines that you can share with us tonight?
Yeah, sure. Excited to be back at the United Center. There's just nothing like that. You have your local support here from Illinois, and to be able to play where the Blackhawks play. There's a new buzz in the city with Connor Bedard being here. Happy to have this place open, but really looking forward to this next wave of hockey and amplifying what we do. So a lot of the spreading the word of high school hockey is being active on social media, doing events like these, telling stories of our players. We have a ton of players that are continue to playing at the next level, and we want to let people know that high school hockey is a place that is not the end of your career.
Last thing I want to run by each of you, and then I've got a closing with Evan. I'm going to start with you, Spencer. The best player that you've coached against in the SHL.
This season?
Don't think too hard about it. It could be I'd say over the last 4 years specifically, because I think that's about how long you've been at Ignatius. Is that right?
Yeah. I've been 8 years.
You're 8 years now. Oh my God.
I'd say Alex Cheris was a great player last year on New Trier Green.
Of course,
so I'll give him the shout out.
He was the best.
Evan, best player you've played against in the SHL.
I think Freemuth right now is the best player in the SHL.
Wow. And we're going to get to see him plenty here over the next. Nick?
I would agree. I think Zach Freemuth is exceptional, yeah.
Adam?
I'd go back to last year. Davis Jaegers had an outstanding year.
Might have been my vote. If I was asked the question, I think Davis Jaegers was the most physically dominant and the guy that could take over the game. I think of Cahill about 6-7 years ago on that level of just physically and speed at another level. So I take that answer.
Yeah, I'd have
obviously
to agree.
besides your
I'd have to agree with Adam, but as well as Zach. I think Zach's not coaching against him, but he is one of the top players.
Finally, Evan, I want to close with you. You've been at the helm here at the SHL for 11 years now, since it's starting. Want to give you the chance to. What's the latest in the SHL? Obviously, you have 2 new teams. Kind of where you see the state of the SHL as we are today.
Well, I think, I don't think there's any question that the SHL is the toughest league in the state. The teams that compete in it, compete every single night. Having both Fenwick, traditionally a powerhouse in the state, and now St. Ignatius, the new up-and-coming team, has really rounded out the entire league. So, I think every coach says the same thing in every locker room. If you don't come to play tonight, you're going to get beat, and it's true. Last night, we played a Fenwick team that has struggled early. Look, they handed our lunch for 3 periods. We were fortunate to get 2 points out of it. They have a really good team, and I would expect them by the end of the year to be really forceful in the SHL. And that just goes to the depth of the league. And it's really fun to come out and watch our games. They're super high competitive, and it's great for the kids.
To your point about depth in the league, there's only 8 playoff spots in the SHL, 11 teams. There's going to be good top-ranked teams in the state that aren't going to make the playoffs. It's going to be a battle all season long. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your support, bringing out all these awesome people. It's been an awesome event, and we'll see you on the circuit.
Thanks, Max.
Thanks. That's the SHL coaches panel. We'll come back. We'll wrap things up, close things out here at the Barn Hockey Bar for your high school hockey kickoff show. Welcome back here. We're going to wrap things up here. Wes, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an awesome night. When me and you together kind of thought of this event, I don't know that I thought it going this well, so big thank you to you for coming out.
Max, I told you this was one of the first types of these events that's ever been done in Chicago, and I think it went swimmingly, to say the least. The turnout was impressive, to say the least, again, on a Monday night, to get people down from the northern suburbs. And thank you to the minds and the brain that you are, and all the hard work that you put in, and without you, none of this is possible. So thank you again for having me.
Bunch of thank yous go around. First of all, like Wes said, I mean, unbelievable turnout we got here at the Barn Hockey Bar. Folks, when you are going to the United Center, this better be your stop before you go there, before, after the game. Great food we were munching earlier. Obviously, full, huge bar. There's going to be golf simulator going in here shortly. I know that's going to
I love that.
So big thank you to everyone coming out. Big thank you to the Barn Hockey Bar. They have become the official bar and restaurant of the SHL. They've made a huge commitment to the league. Spencer Montgomery, a huge part of that, the head coach of St. Ignatius. Can't thank them enough for their support of the SHL, of the SHL Network. Events like this don't happen without great sponsors like that. Speaking of our sponsors, head over to the ScholasticHockeyLeague.org. You can see all the sponsors of the SHL. Again, we say it every broadcast. There is no SHL Game of the Week, SHL Network, without our sponsors. So please go take a look at them on the ScholasticHockeyLeague.org. Patronize them if you can. If they're part of your portfolio, please make sure you do. It's what allows us to bring all this great, hard-hitting hockey action. Big thank you to SHL President Evan Polakidis. I say it every year. There is never an ask, Wes, where I go to Evan and he says no, right? Everything is either yes or we're going to find a way to do it.
It's not, and none of this is possible without Evan. So we are forever grateful.
The 11-year president of the SHL, it does an incredible job, folks. I can't thank him enough for all his support. Dylan Ward and Sam Schwartz do an unbelievable amount of work behind the scenes that you never see. Sam Schwartz specifically on the website. I know his power rankings can get some people riled up, but folks, what he does to manage the SHL website, all the scheduling, it's a headache, and he's a college student, and he does it remotely. He does it because he loves it, and he loves this community, he loves this league. Big thank you to Sam Schwartz, Dylan Ward, who we already got a chance to talk to. Of course, my co-host West and the rest of our amazing sponsors. I'm Max Anderson. Can't forget about Jimmy the Wiz Olsen, right off camera, doing what he always does. Big thank you to Jimmy the Wiz. For all of the participants here tonight, my co-hosts included, I'm Max Anderson. We will talk to you Friday night, first SHL Game of the Week coming to you live from Madison Ice Arena. York and St. Viator, it's going to be a battle. We'll talk to you then.